Stardew Valley. Probably one of the most relaxing games to ever exist. Let's put that to the test by aiming for perfection, one season at a time. This will be a 1.6 perfection run, and to be honest, that is my only goal. I don't care how long it takes, I don't have objectives that need to be completed in my first year. I mainly hope to play and get things settled, unlocking content as we go. This game has a lot to offer, and putting things on a time crunch seems like an added stress that I don't need in my life. We start the game at my grandfather's, where he writes me a letter before, well, I'm only assuming retiring. Probably going on a year-round cruise to the Bahamas. Before he goes, he gives me a mysterious envelope that I'm hoping is $1 million. He explains to me that I shouldn't open it until I'm dead inside from modern living, and I return to my life where, inevitably, I do die inside. After opening the letter, I hop onto the nearest bus and head directly for Stardew Valley, a small town where I'm hoping the millions of dollars is stashed. I was greeted by the local carpenter, Robin, and was shown what was left to me by my grandfather, a rundown farm with overgrown weeds. Don't worry, I reacted calmly, and then I met the mayor of the town, Lewis. On day one, I was so excited, I grabbed the small present left in the middle of the room. Since we chose a Meadowlands farm, we received hay, which was perfect considering we had a chicken coop outside with 2 small chicks already named Salt and Pepper. I gave them their food and cleaned around their coop so it'd be easier for them to get around before cleaning a bit around my own house. I then plopped down one of the most crucial things, a chest, before leaving the boundaries of my farm to go look around and see what I could find. I found a few forageables, but most importantly, a weird purple chicken at the playground. I met a few of the locals like Maru and Demetrius, and then went looking for the true hero of the game, Linus. I met a few more nice locals and went to Pierre's where I bought seeds I knew I would need and spending the rest of my money on parsnips. There was a lot of introductions, so I went foraging on the beach and around the woods before going home and planting everything I could. I had a bit more time and energy left, so I cleared out more around the farm before tucking myself in for the night. Somehow, I leveled up in foraging. On day 2, I awoke to mail, the most important one being from Willie, who said he had something for me. I really hope it's that $1 million. It wasn't. It was a fishing rod from a very smelly, drunk man. You know what they say, give a Stardew Valley girl a fish and she has a fish. But give a Stardew Valley girl a fishing rod and she becomes deeply, deeply obsessed. After fishing for most of the day, I went back to the farm to clear out more room for my future profits. I mean, plants. After tucking ourselves in, we wake up to see level 1 fishing, where we get +1 fishing rod proficiency. On day 3, the valley saw rain, which meant I didn't have to manually water my crops, but I did have to check on Salt and Pepper. They had finally decided to pay their rent in form of egg. I picked up a few forageables before heading to my fishing spot, only stopping my work to say hello to the valley's nicest. I changed my fishing spot a couple times and was able to snag myself treasure while reeling in a big one, as they say. I really couldn't even believe my eyes when I saw the ancient seed. I think this was the fastest I have ever gotten one. I was pretty much in a state of shock for a while. When I regained my composure, I donated what I could to the museum after listening to his whole spiel. I don't know why he can't go out and collect things, but you know what, I'll bite, I'll do it. I'll do everything. I leveled up in fishing once again, and then went to spend my very hard-earned money on something stupid, like floors. Just the recipes for floors. That's all I did. But with those floor recipes, I was able to make my chicken coop a little more lively. And then I accidentally ruined my fence. And that went down in a spiral that I don't think my mental health could not take my dog is barking. I've lost it. Although we couldn't fix our fence because of our overexertion, we did level up our foraging, which unlocked the recipe for a charcoal kiln. On day 5, Marnie showed up to the farm with a dog. After agreeing to adopt her, I named her Darla. Darla showed up at a busy time, however, as our parsnips were ready to harvest, and I finally had the energy to fix our fences. And because of another very mysterious letter in my mailbox, we went to the mines, which had now been opened. We met a very odd man named Marlin, who tossed us a sword and said, "Jump down this ladder, nothing bad will happen." And for some reason, we listened, and we jumped down the ladder. We mined our little hearts away, dealing with weird creatures that were easily slayed by our hands, and only reached level 18 before we collapsed from exhaustion. The good news was we leveled up in farming, mining, and even combat. Day 6 went as follows. Clint shows up at our door unannounced. He gives us the recipe to a furnace, but he also gives us the ick. We take our newly constructed furnace to the mines and set it down next to our chest so we can smelt as we adventure. We adventure, we die, we become over-encumbered with the reality of living while smelting, and fall asleep in the cave. We did manage to level up in mining, however, and day 7 proved to be a bit more relaxing as we did our farm chores and went up towards the rundown community center. It was in rough shape, but after being gaslit by some kind of apples, I waited for Lewis to leave before exploring on my own to find some weird language that I couldn't read. The only thing I could think to do after that was to fish. The good news was that on day 8, someone else was just as concerned about the gaslighting fruits. We made our way to the mysterious tower where the wizard lived. He gave me some free samples of his essential oil pyramid scheme. I'm not sure what he put into those oils, but I liked it. Then we went mining again, because what else do you expect me to do? I was on top of the world. I made it to level 41 before I couldn't do any more, but that left me with just enough energy to tend to the spices before going to bed and leveling up in combat. We did the morning chores as usual on day 9 and was able to work on a bundle and give a few of my hard-earned items to the museum. With my voluntary donations, I was gifted seeds and promptly planted them in my sad excuse of a garden. I took the daffodil I had forgotten to bring the first time and completed my first bundle, which rewarded me with more seeds. Yay. It did make the Junimos happy though, as they unlocked more work for me to do, which worked out in the end because I had been hoarding items and desperately needed to get rid of the fish I had stashed in my pockets. For the next 3 days, I did a mix of everything. I fished, foraged, and farmed. The 3 big Fs. All that work led me to level up in those areas, and I even finished Robin's quest of returning her lost axe. Day 13 was the day we needed to get serious. There were children to beat at games, and strawberries to buy. We dominated the field, and won a straw hat that I would be wearing to spite the kids. And then I bought seeds for my empire. By the time I got home, I had just enough energy to plant and water before sleeping soundly. Although my empire grew, it left me with a lot of work in the morning, as most of my energy now went to watering. The straw hat kept my spirits up, and even gave me motivation to mine for the next 2 days. We fell asleep shy of level 60. I woke up to my wild seeds ready for harvest on day 16, and realized I would need to build a silo soon. So I farmed some clay and went forth to meet with the carpenter, only to realize she didn't work on Tuesdays. I sat in that disappointment for a while. I didn't give up though. The next day I went right back and ignored the small talk to commission my silo. The rain did remind me that there was a few fish I hadn't caught for spring, so I went forth and had tiring battles that almost bested me. But in the end, I caught both a catfish and eel, before going to the mines to get 5 more levels lower. For the next 2 days, I mined, hoping to get materials, and leveled up in mining and combat. Day 21 was a bit scattered. Not only did we have our normal farm duties to tend to, but we had tons of random items to gift to the community center. We then took out the geodes we had been collecting and gave them to Clint the blacksmith to open up, and ended up with more things to donate to the museum. It's all a vicious cycle. Before going home, I saw the children out by the sewer being absolute babies. And after calming them down, I went to take a look myself and saw nothing suspicious whatsoever. And I couldn't help but deforest at the end of the day to help clear my head, and put down lights to give me some sort of hope that the farm would lead me to the $1 million. We had to get serious for summer approaching. I was able to make preserving jars on days 22 and 23, and we also did some cleaning and made sprinklers to make the next season easier. We also were able to pick up our new and improved pickaxe that we spent all our money on to upgrade. To show our disapproval, we gifted Clint a broken CD. Lols. And in typical fashion, broke our brain trying to lay sprinklers that only watered 4 squares. I never claimed to be smart, and I actually never claimed to be anything. The 24th of spring is a special day for Stardew Valley players, especially the first year. What's better than sitting awkwardly in a field while other people dance? I can only think of one other thing, and that's my preserving jar is giving me my first batch of jelly. As there are ups, there must always be downs, and I found this out by dying in the mines. I shook off the embarrassment on day 26, just in time to watch Pierre get decimated in his own store and home. There was no time to comfort him, however, because I remembered he had a backpack for sale, so I spent $2,000 on a regular bag and left. I fished well into the night and decided to call it quits when I couldn't see anything anymore. Of course, it couldn't be that simple. I was asked by George to scare off some raccoons looting through his trash and saw Linus instead. I reassured him it was fine because why would I care? And then watched a wholesome scene unfold. Not too long though. I was tired and cranky from the salt air giving me a sunburn. We were so close to the end of the first season. I celebrated in the town saloon and spent the rest of my time preparing for summer. Even though we had barely touched the surface of the game, we made a lot of progress on our road to perfection. This is one of my favorite games, and trying this challenge has been very rewarding. I hope it's been just as entertaining for you. If you like this video, make sure to give me a like and follow so you won't miss the next one. And leave a comment on what you hope to see for the next season. Until then, see you for summer.